I'm actually broadcasting from Business Rockstars, so I thought I'd simultaneously broadcast from my phone in addition to us broadcasting live from the Business Rockstar studio. So I'm going to be talking at the camera, which will also be talking to you, so stay tuned. We're rolling? Hi, my name is Josh Wenner. I'm a master coach and entrepreneur, and today we're going to talk about time management. And it's a simple strategy to get everything you want out of life. So what could you accomplish? What could you accomplish if you were able to maximize your productivity each day, each week, maybe each month or each year? You know, would you spend more time with your family? Would you spend more time with your intimate partner? Or maybe would you develop some new relationships? Would you grow your business? Would you scale your business and take it to the next level? You know, would you travel? Would you develop a stronger spiritual practice or connection? Or would you have more hobbies? Would you do more things that are fun and have more fun and excitement in your life? Or would you volunteer to give back? So today's focus is really about the value of time management. Or today we're going to talk about the 3 areas that your focus goes, your time goes, if you're not in control of it. We're going to talk about what time really is at the end of the day. And we're also going to talk about one simple strategy that you can implement to really maximize your time and maximize your time management. So first, I'd like to welcome everyone to our Facebook Live in the Business Rockstars community. And for those of you who are new, you can find out more at businessrockstars.com. For $1, you can join our community and you can learn from other entrepreneurs and also hang with other entrepreneurs at our monthly events. And first, really dive into this topic about time management. You know, I was talking to somebody recently, and they had their business. Maybe you can relate. If you're an entrepreneur, how many times have you focused on the wrong things? So it may feel like you're really busy, like you're working hard, you're hustling, you're grinding, you're getting things done. But at the end of the week, it's like, what did I accomplish? So sometimes even though we're working hard, we're not always focused on the right things. So it can feel like we've done a lot of work and not gotten results. Can you relate? Other times, I know a lot of entrepreneurs who are massively successful at their business. They spend a lot of time highly focused on the right outcomes, but when you look at their personal life, they don't make time for their body or their health or their relationships in life, and so other areas of their life struggle. So today, we're going to talk about the value of time management. We're going to talk about what time actually is to get more associated with it, and we're also going to talk about a simple strategy that you can maximize to focus on your time. So let's think about this for a second. You know, where does your time go? You know, we live in a time where is there more or less distractions? You know, I would venture to say that there's probably more distractions now than there's ever been. You know, it's like you can't turn your head 2 seconds without getting distracted by 5 other things. You know, whether it's social media, whether it's advertisements, you know, there's how many devices we're looking on in this day and age. So if you're not maximizing your time, I mean, it's probably harder than it's ever been to get distracted. So when you really take a look at it, you know, think about it like this. If you're not clearly focused on your outcome, where does your time go? And it goes to a couple different areas. One area it goes to avoiding pain. So let's say you have a big goal to grow your business and you're moving forward and it feels totally overwhelming. That can feel a little painful at times in figuring out how to do it. And if you're not completely focused on the outcome, then we can focus on not feeling bad. The second area could be focused on short-term pleasure. And these kind of go together a lot of times. The third area it goes to is other people's demands. And the fourth area is finally your vision. So let's think about this for a minute. Let's say you have this big goal. Maybe it's to focus on growing your business. And you get really excited, you get really pumped, and you start off in that direction. And all of a sudden it feels really heavy. And you sit down to work on something. Maybe it's picking up the phone and making sales calls. Maybe it's putting together your marketing message to enroll new clients. Maybe it's just doing some actual work to do a roadshow to raise capital. Whatever it could be. And it feels a little heavy and overwhelming. And instead of focusing on it, maybe you go down the street and you get one of those mochachias, those frappuccinos, right? And it takes your mind off of things, but it's really a short-term distraction. And then when you're there, you get distracted by 5 other things. You're looking on your social media accounts, and before you know it, 3 hours have gone by. So, or maybe it's something different. Maybe you have a friend calling for help. You have family calling for help. You have all these people asking you for help. And you end up giving your time to all their focus points instead of really focusing on your outcomes. So what happens with this? We're going to really talk about how to manage your focus and a simple strategy to do this because, again, it's more challenging than ever. And if you're not clear on this, if you're not focused on this, a lot of times your week can disappear, your month can disappear, and the whole year can disappear, and it can feel like you didn't make progress. Or worse yet, if you're focused on not taking care of your health, a lot of entrepreneurs burn themselves out growing this startup, and they don't take care of their health. And I mean, what's the point? If you don't take care of your health and your vitality, or if you burn out your relationship, what was the point of this entrepreneurial venture if you can't have the fulfillment of your health as well as your relationships? So before we dive into this, let's think about what is time. Really, what is time? I like to venture to say that time is emotion. Time is emotion. If you think about it, have you ever had something that you did and, it seemed like the whole weekend flew by, right? Because you were having fun. You were enjoying what you're doing. Have you ever had something else that you sat down to do it and it took like a whole day, right? And it was like, man, it feels like a whole day and it was only 3 minutes. So what's the difference in time? Really, the difference is it's emotion. If we're enjoying it, if we're having fun, then it really is fulfilling. So think about it like this. Where focus goes, energy flows. So in order to change our focus on what we need to do, the key is you got to ask better questions. So again, think about it like this. If we're not clear on our focus, if we're not clear on our outcome of what we want to do, then when we feel pressure, when we feel pain, when we feel uncomfortable, we're going to do things to get short-term pleasure, or we're going to do things to avoid pain, or somebody else is going to call with the question and we're going to move into other people's demands instead of focusing on our outcomes. So the key is managing our focus. And if you think about it like this, as human beings, we are constantly focused on deleting all the things we could be focusing on. I mean, think about it for a second. Are you focusing on your heartbeat? Are you focusing on your breath and breathing? Are you focusing on the clothes that are up against your skin? Are you focusing on the objects in the room and all the colors and shapes that it does? No, majority of the time you're not. We're managing our focus, controlling a couple key areas. So the key is to be able to manage your focus and put that focus on your outcomes, your dreams, because you deserve it. So, I'm Josh Wenner. Right now you're on a Facebook Live and we're with Business Rockstars and we're talking about time management, a simple strategy to be more effective in your life and in your business. So far we've covered the 4 areas that our time and focus goes if we're not managing it. And we also have covered what time really is. And it's really the power of emotion. So the last is we're going to talk about a strategy that you can implement right now in your business or right now in your personal life to actually get more results than you've ever wanted in your life. So this is actually a strategy I learned when working with Tony Robbins. It's a simple strategy. It's called RPM. RPM stands for, number 1, what is the result or outcome you're looking for? So if you sit down in your life, sit down and think about what is the actual result. I find most entrepreneurs aren't clear. They haven't really mapped out, here's a result. They're a little cloudy and they're kind of running around doing different things. Same could be true with your health. Let's say you say, I want to get better this year, or I want to feel a little bit better. That's totally different than I'm going to lose 100 pounds, or I'm going to build 10 pounds of muscle, or I'm going to do something very specific with a very specific outcome. So again, the key is, what is a specific outcome or result? That's the R in RPM. Get as clear as possible, and I would recommend that you do this in multiple areas, not just business, but what's your outcome in your relationship? What's your outcome in your business? What's your outcome in your health? What's your outcome with your personal relationships? What's your outcome with your spiritual practice? What kind of trips and hobbies would you want to do for fun? So again, identify all these. It's a great time to do it towards the end of the year. I would say if you're in business and you're more in the startup phase and it can get a lot of overwhelming, the primary thing is keep asking. It has to be about client retention and client acquisition. A lot of times businesses fail just because they don't have the revenue. So continue to ask those questions. What can I do to narrow my focus on client acquisition and retention? So that's the R in RPM. The P is purpose. And this is interesting because it took me a long time, even though I was studying with Tony, it took me a long time because it takes a little bit more time at first to sit down and write out the reasons. But the purpose is the reasons why this is important. So let's say you sit down and you say, I want to write $1 million, or I want to make $1 million. That's great, but where's the juice? Where's the momentum when you're trying to drive forward and make 100 calls in a week to drive your business forward and that feels heavy? Is just the vision of $1 million are going to do it? Or if you sat down and write down all the reasons why? That's the juice. So maybe if you wrote down, you know what, I want to change 100 people's lives. I want to make a difference on the planet. I want to empower 100 people to change their lives. And by doing these 100 calls a week to grow my business, here's what's going to change. I'm going to feel more confident as a man or woman. I'm going to feel more congruent with who I am and my calling. I'm going to get the revenue that I'm desiring in my business. I'm going to add more value to my clients than anybody else in the game, anybody else in the industry. I'm going to be able to actually make enough money to give back to my church or charities or my family. And maybe I'm going to be able to create the freedom that I truly desire, right? So whatever those could be for you, but what are those reasons that are going to allow you to get the energy or the momentum to move through it when it feels uncomfortable? Because again, once you set a big goal, once you set a big outcome and you get all excited and you start to move forward, guess what happens? It feels a little bit heavy. And what do? We move back to those 4 areas of time. It feels overwhelming. It feels like a little bit of pressure. We feel that pain and then try to avoid it. We move to a short-term pleasure, TV, social media, distractions, education, social media, Starbucks, calling friends, family, distractions, studying, whatever you do with your distractions. Or it goes to other people's demands. Your family calling for help, a spouse calling for help, a friend calling for help. Pretty soon you're helping them and your day's gone. Or you can be focused on your outcome. So if you got a clear outcome, you have enough reasons, then you can look at those reasons and go, this is a priority. This is a priority, this is my major outcome. So the last part is the massive action plan. Once you've got the result and you're clear on your outcome, and next you have enough purpose or enough reasons or enough juice to make it happen, so the R and the P, the next is the map or the massive action plan. So clarity is power. The clearer you can be on what you want, the more precise you can be at making it happen, then your brain finds a way at making it happen. So if you've taken the time to figure out what is my clear outcome, what are the reasons why it's important, now it's easy to figure out a strategy. I get a lot of calls from clients or future entrepreneurs, and they say, you know what, I did a lot of the work. And I'm like, well, how many calls did you make growing your business? Well, I did 3 this month. What stopped you from making 3 a day or 5 a day or 10 a day? And a lot of times I find they just don't have clarity. They're not clear on what they want, and they're not willing to do what it takes to make it happen. But a lot of that's because they haven't taken the time to build this momentum, this juice. So, the focus of today is really about time management. These are just short little segments to really kind of help give you some quick tips to help you get the benefit and value in life. Today we talked about really 3 focus areas. One, we talked about where our focus and our time goes if we're not in control of it. We talked about what the power of time was, and that time is really just the value of emotion and managing our emotion if we're enjoying it or if we're not enjoying it. And last, we talked about a simple strategy called RPM that I got from Tony Robbins that we can really implement into our life to maximize our time. And we can do this in every area, whether it's relationship, whether it's business, whether it's our health, or whether it's something we want to do for fun in order to get back in life. So, again, my name is Joshua Wenner. I'm with Business Rockstars. I invite you to join us at our membership community for only $1. You can join us for monthly events where we hang out with other entrepreneurs, or you can also learn from our archive of over 3,000 interviews with some of the biggest names in the industry. Have a great day.